Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lost Aux Media. If you're an avid listener of the show, then you know that every Wednesday is when we premiere new episodes and get together in live chat during the viewing. This Wednesday, our episode was copyright claimed by none other than Netflix. We covered the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight that happened this past week, and Netflix was not too happy about it, I guess. Very nice, right? Despite numerous attempts to alter the content in any way I possibly can, I even changed the pitch of their voices. Everyone was talking like this. It was crazy. Netflix still kept claiming the video to the point to where I reached out to YouTube and they told me there was nothing I could possibly do about it. So we're uploading the video today. It's a couple days late, and unfortunately, it will have to be without the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul segment. That doesn't mean you're going to miss out on a good episode. We have plenty of jamokes to cover this week. So please, I will not hold you any further. Come and join me on this week's episode of Lost Aux Media. Hello, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Lost Aux Media. I'd like to thank you on joining me on another week of debauchery where we make you take a second look at what you just watched.
Dead to me, R.I.P. buried.
Ooh, yes. Sometimes you can't beat that Tina Mina, baby. Ooh, yeah. That beat is nice, but these jamokes are nicer. Let me tell you right now. Who do we have on the docket for today? We got good old Ethan Burger Boy Klein, gracing us with yet another Crash Out episode. He ends up reading all these hate comments from this Dan Balsagna. You guys know this Dan Balsagna guy? This guy ends up having like an interview with Piers Morgan. This guy ends up crashing out himself, like going off on the Jews. You know what I mean? Episode's getting a lot of traction. Ethan decides to go through those hate comments and read damn near every single one of them on his goddamn show. Not only that, Mr. Klein has seemed to take a liking to the Adderall. And he is practically begging for it from his crew on his show. We'll touch into all that and more later on Lost Aux Media. Then, of course, we're going to be bringing in some good old laughs with another one of our favorite jamokes, Mr. Dave Portnoy. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you thought it was funny to see a white guy try to rap, boy oh boy do I got something for you. Dave Portnoy happens to be probably the whitest guy on the planet, and to watch him rap is just priceless. So we're definitely going to be touching on that a little later as well. Mathew McConaughey ends up making his appearance, debut, whatever you want to call it, on Two Bears, One Cave. And this one was kind of interesting because Segura finally reveals his final form on this episode. Like, you know how Goku and Frieza are fighting on planet Namek, and Frieza's like, "This isn't even my final form." It's like the same thing with Segura. Wait until you see what this asshole looks like in this episode of Two Bears, One Cave. Then we're going to end it off on something special for you guys, the listeners. Yes, give it up for you. We're going to end up touching on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight that was live on Netflix on Friday. And boy, oh boy, was this a goddamn shit show. Very lose-lose situation for Mr. Paul here, right? You know, because if he wins, he beat up an old man. If he loses, he lost to an old man, right? But if this guy ends up drawing, well, then he couldn't beat up an old man. So, like, this guy is literally losing, win, lose, or draw in this situation. So I thought this was a very interesting thing to touch on because, I mean, let's face it, everyone was watching it, right? Did you even try to watch it? If you did, you caught that buffering, right? Netflix's fucking live stream team sucks ass. So we'll be getting into all these jamokes and more on this episode of Lost Aux Media. But before we get into all that, we're going to start with the Dave Portnoy, we're going to start with Mathew McConaughey making his appearance on Two Bears, One Cave, because that shit is just, it's too good to not start with, you understand? So we'll start with that, but before we get into all that, I want to share with you guys a little bit of my personal life. So I went to the Renaissance Fair yesterday. It was Saturday morning. I went to a Renaissance Fair. I live in North Carolina, so we were down south. I wanted to go to the Renaissance Fair to like field test some new equipment that I got. A couple episodes back, I showed you guys my camera lens. I had gotten a new gimbal for one of my cameras. That's like a camera stabilizer. You like move it, camera stays in one spot like a chicken head, you know? So I wanted to test all that stuff out. So I went there, took a bunch of pictures at the Ren Fair, busted out the gimbal, got some footage. But the one thing I noticed, I don't know if you guys have been to a Ren Fair lately, but like almost nobody's even dressing up as like medieval characters anymore. Like, they're just showing up, like, wearing whatever the fuck they want. I saw, like, Deadpool there. I saw Harley Quinn. I saw, like, pirates. I saw people dressed up as Star Trek characters. Fucking Spock was there. They had the ears and everything. But one thing that caught my attention were the furries. I was not expecting this shit. I'm walking through the goddamn Ren Fair. There's furries all over the goddamn place. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It was like 80 degrees outside, mind you. Like, I live down south, so it's still warm this time of year down here. These motherfuckers are wearing full-blown furry costumes, like the same shit you'd see online. I had never seen a furry in real life. So when I saw this, best you believe that shit caught my attention, dude. Like, I was like flabbergasted when I saw this, right? So I'm going to share some of that footage with you guys right now. This was like genuinely shocking to me that I would see this at a Renaissance fair. So now see, I'm just like filming around. I'm kind of like just scoping. Right now I'm not like paying attention to anything I'm shooting. I'm just kind of like scouring around to see if there's anything worth shooting. I got the camera rolling the whole time. You know what I mean? So this is all just like bullshit footage I was going through when I got home. But while I was filming, this is where I got sidetracked by the furries. Watch this.
Hello, mother. Another showing, right? What the fuck?
You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm saying? Look, I'm walking, I'm minding my own goddamn business, right? I got the camera like, I'm holding the camera like down to my side, you know? So it's like almost filming like the floor. I'm walking, I go to flip the thing up, right? I'm looking at just the viewfinder on the camera. I'm not even paying attention to what's in front of me. So I don't see this guy right away. Right? So I have the camera down. I go to like lift it up to now start paying attention and go, okay, now let me start filming some stuff. The second I bring the camera up, this fucking motherfucker is right in my goddamn face. I was I was flabbergasted. I had no idea that I would run into someone like this at the goddamn Ren Fair. Watch this shit. There's a bunch of them. Look, you see he's turning, right? He's turning to the side. He's calling at his pups. He's like, you know what I mean? He's calling at the babies now. Because they're all following him. These people are fucking, they're nuts. I mean, to be walking around, you see all these people, right? This guy is wearing a goddamn t-shirt. It is not cold outside, my friend. These motherfuckers are sweating, okay? Like, so look, I'll show you again. I go to bring this goddamn camera up. This guy comes out of left field. What the fuck, right? Now he calls. He calls to the family. See, that guy's not even wearing his shit. He knows. He's like, it's way too hot out here to be going the whole 9 yards with this. Got the other one. Look, that one did a little like, you know what I mean? I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw this. You know, nothing on them. Let them live their lives. But it was hot. It was kind of hot outside for that. It was not like the hottest day ever, but it was hot enough to where I was like, these guys are going through the shit. You know what I mean? So they end up passing by, right? And I'm walking through, I'm filming some other stuff. That's not like, you know, enough to like shock me into being like, whoa, man, I'm like, You know, it's just like, I just wasn't expecting seeing it. You know what I mean? It's not the craziest thing ever to run into a furry, okay? As a matter of fact, I ended up running into another one of these groups of furries throughout the thing. They ended up taking me over. They kind of were like hovering over me, like casting spells and shit. I was on the ground with my gimbal, right? I was just like fucking, I was backing up because they started running up on me. I ended up tripping over like a fucking root, like a tree root. I'm on the ground. I got the gimbal up, right? And I'm just like holding it the way I fell. These guys were over me, casting fucking spells and shit on me, right? Needless to say, I have now become one with the furry. I am now officially a goddamn furry, okay? I haven't gotten the costume yet. Those things are like fucking, like $1,300. I would imagine they're fucking expensive. They gotta be expensive. You know what I mean? Because you look at some of these cosplay costumes, like you get like a full decked out Deadpool, which I actually ended up seeing while I was at the Renaissance Fair. This guy looked like he came just off the set. A Deadpool costume is like $800, like a really good one, like a Ryan Reynolds quality. I could only imagine all the fur and shit. These guys are practically wearing mascot like outfits, right? Those things got to be expensive. So when I save up for one, I will become a furry. I'm gonna show up on the show fully decked out in the goddamn costume. I have become a one with the furry, okay? But let's not forget, that's not why we're here. We are here for the Jamokes. Let's give it up for the Jamokes. So, obviously, we're going to start out with this Mathew McConaughey on Two Bears, One Cave, right? Now, this was a very interesting interview because Tom's final form is fucking insane. Wait until you guys see what this guy looks like. And you pair that with, you know, just the obnoxious birdiness or whatever you want to call it. And then Mathew McConaughey's like off-the-wall, outlandish, kooky little attitude. That makes for quite an interesting interview. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to hold you guys. Let's just get right into it.
You there.
100%.
All right, we're sitting on the same side of the table this week.
What the fuck is... Look at this asshole. What in the actual fuck is this? Tom Segura coming in looking like a fucking plucked chicken. I'm like, I was taken aback by this. When this guy came, because you just saw, like, we had 2 seconds of him on the screen reading like an ad. You know, that for some reason these guys love starting the show with like 18 minutes of advertisements before they even say a single goddamn word. So this guy's got like B-roll recorded ads, right? He's got a full beard. You turn on the intro to the episode, this guy comes in looking like fucking this, bro.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I couldn't believe it. When I saw, I was like, what the fuck did he do this for? Like, what was this for? You can't go shell-shocking your fucking audience like this. Start out with some stubble. You know what I mean? Shave it down to stubble. Or, like, slowly wean it down. You know what I mean? When you do stuff like this, it's very shocking to us, the audience. We notice. Like, if I showed up tomorrow or next week with no mustache, you guys would notice, you know? You guys would be like, what is going on with this dude? Why did he shave? It would throw you off. And that's what this is doing here, for me at least.
Week, which is very strange, but it's because we are joined by the most handsome man in Austin, Texas.
In the world.
And possibly in the entire world. And you can get his already huge smash hit book.
Look, I can't get over this. I can't even get through the intro. Just look at his mouth. His whole mouth, it just looks weird now that his shit is shaved. What? Watch him just talk. Watch. Oh my God! What the fuck is? What is that? What is that face? Jesus Christ! Just watch his mouth. Watch his mouth when it looks so strange now that there's no facial hair there.
The entire world, and you can get his already huge smash hit book now available in paperback tomorrow. The book is, of course, called Green Lights. It's Mathew.
Something, I don't know. And look at this. This every time I'm fucking on a roll with the pause button right now. This guy looks like a psychopath. This guy looks insane. If I shared to you just this frame, if you just saw this sitting outside your Ring camera right now, like if you got a notification on your Ring camera and this is what you saw on the other end of it, you would be scared for your life. You would have no idea what the fuck is going on, okay? This guy, I don't know why he shaved. Let's try to get through this intro so we can get on to the next set of time codes. Holy shit.
Mathew McConaughey, everybody. Give him a hand.
How we doing, man?
Buddy.
Yeah,
Actually, I won most hands in 1988. There's a story in there about how he lost a lawsuit case against this oil of mink when it had the bad acne.
Do you mean
Look at Mathew McConaughey. Tell me that is not a man after your own heart, man. That's a true heartthrob right there. Like, look at the definition in the jaw. He's got his whole face is like structured. It's like angled. You know what I mean? You can't get a better looking guy than this. What he's doing hanging around with these two assholes is beyond me. Look at these two fucks. Jesus Christ. So, like I said, Tom's new form, not doing too much for him. You know what I mean? I was flabbergasted when I saw it. I'm still flabbergasted now. We wasted like 5 minutes on it. So, let's get past it. So this guy, what I thought was so funny about this shaving, right, is that he looks probably the most uncool he could possibly look at this very moment, right? But this guy, like in the past couple years, has been doing all this shit to be like this cool, hip, like connoisseur-y type guy. You know what I mean? Like he's going like to France just to get like a new watch. You know, you could get these things shipped over. You don't have to make a whole ordeal out of it. You know, he's doing like vlogs, like I'm going to get this tailored suit from this French concho manchois, like, and he's trying to like say shit in France. Remember a couple episodes ago, I talked about how like when white people go to like ethnic restaurants and stuff, they try to order with the accent and how cringe it is. Tom like is legit. He like thinks he's like French now. It's fucking crazy. Like he'll sit there and somebody says something in French and he'll be like, oh no, it's a mise en point. Like, you know, he tries to like say it, like, and correct them or some shit. He's trying so hard to be cool, right? You would think by now with all this money and you know, you got people to talk to like Joe Rogan, you think you'd know what cool is by now, right? Apparently these two don't. This guy is like asking Mathew how to be cool. It's like so cringy. And of course, Mathew is fucking cool, so he doesn't have to try. You know what I mean? He's just cool. You know, that's just Mathew McConaughey. He's just cool. So they want to know how to get a piece of that.
A lot of people move to Austin going, okay, well, I'm going to try to be what I think being me's like. No, that's not cool. Or I'm going to try to be what Austin is like. So no, just be you, bro. You stay in your own lane, do your own thing, and you know, that's cool.
This is something I want to ask about cool though, because there's a funny thing about when you watch a movie where the guy's cool.
Yeah.
Like when you get a cool role. Because I think, like I was watching Daniel Craig, right? And he was in like a Knives Out.
Look, Bert, bumping the mic, that's not cool, man. That's not cool, all right? Look at this asshole. Look, now they're both like trying to be cool now in front of Mathew McConaughey, especially now that he's mentioned it. They got it on top of the brain. So what happens when you try to be cool, right? When you when you consciously try to be cool, what happens? You start fidgeting. You don't know how to act. You're like, well, is it cool to do this? Should I put my elbow like this? Is it cool maybe to cross my arms like this? You know what I'm talking to? Should I smile more? Should I maybe like, should I crunch my eyes down like this and just stare at him? Mean mugging the shit out of him. Is that cool? You know what I mean? You start getting in your head like that. And Bert is starting to get in his head like that. Does probably the most uncool thing you could do during a podcast. He bumps the goddamn microphone. Watch this.
Like I was watching Daniel Craig, right? And he was in like a
See,
Knives
look at
Out.
this asshole. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's like, well, they're talking about being cool now. He's like, man, I want to be cool. These guys, I want to be so goddamn cool. That Bert is he's starting to fall victim to his own consciousness. Watch.
Thing where he gets, it's like it's a character, right? And you get to see like him having fun. Then you watch like a Bond movie, and I think it's easy to watch, and you go, oh, that's not like a real acting, right?
Yeah.
But then you stop and you go, wait a minute, though, to be the coolest guy in the world for every shot, you're like, that actually is a thing, and you can't look like you're trying to be cool. Because then
Look at these guys. They're asking about trying to be cool. Tom is looking fucking, I'm telling you, I don't know what this, every time I pause a frame on Tom Segura, he looks fucking insane. This is crazy, bro. Like, and this guy's asking about how to be cool. I thought you were already cool, man. What happened? Look at him. Even this frame. I can't stop. I'm telling you, if you're just listening, you have to watch. You're doing yourself such an injustice by missing out on these frames. He looks like such a slouchy fucking dope.
you're like, that actually is a thing, and you can't look like you're trying to be cool. Because then you're a fucking dork.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's got to walk cool, he's got to look cool, and it's like, what? How do you play cool?
See, Matthew's like, I didn't know it was going to be one of these kinds of interviews. You know, because Tom is sitting there trying to play it off. You know what Tom is doing right now? He's doing like, he goes, I'm asking for a friend. You know how people say, I'm asking for a friend. You know what I mean? The friend is you, you know? So he's kind of doing that. He's like trying to like mask his question by being like, well, you know, what is it? How do you act cool in like a movie scene? You know what I mean? Like, is there a way to do, you have a way to do that? And then Tom in his head, he's like, so when Matthew says this, I'm going to take that. I'm going to apply it to my everyday life. You know what I mean? This is what he's doing right now. He's asking for the keys, you know? And Matthew's kind of like, well, man, I can't just give them to you, man. Like, you know?
I think cool comes from just ownership. You know, if it's an acting role, owning my man. Mm-hmm. For instance, first role I ever did, Wooderson, Days Confused.
Fucking love it.
There's a line written in there, Richard Linklater, one of the original lines. I call it a launch pad line. Those lines that you go, this character means that. There's a book written I could write on that character, right? Wooderson's hanging out in front of the pool hall. High school.
Now watch this, because this is going to be like very important to the shift that's going to happen later on in this interview. Matthew is about to drop some knowledge, right? That you genuinely in your head, you're going to hear it and you're going to go, holy shit. Like, I think this guy is like onto some like next level shit. I think this guy's like tapped the fuck in. Like, you start to think like, holy shit. If there is not a person who has it more figured out than Mathew McConaughey, like when you start hearing the stuff that he has to say here in the beginning, he's like very articulate. What he's saying is like formulated, almost to the point to where like it almost seems like he's had this one in the chamber, like waiting for someone to ask this question. You know what I mean? But he sounds very formulated here, and it's very interesting because later this shit's gonna take a little bit wilder of a turn.
Written I could write on that character, right? Wooderson's hanging out in front of the pool hall. High school chicks walk by. He checks him out the backside. His buddy leans in his ear and says, Wooderson, you got to cut that out, man. You're going to end up in jail. He says, no, man, that's what I love about those high school girls, man. I get older, but they stay the same age. I went, who the fuck is that?
This show is sponsored by...
So now he goes, who the fuck is that, right? So he's talking about his character from Dazed and Confused that says that line. You know, I get older, and them high school girls, they stay the same age. Now, this isn't the part that I'm talking about he has figured out. It's the way he explains how he came to, like, create that character and culminate that character just off of that one line alone. And the way he goes to articulate his process in doing this makes him sound like a well-rounded, put-together guy. We come to find out later he's not. But I just want you to bear witness to this part.
I like a Wooderson, and I wasn't trying to be cool, but owning
it is
your life, your politics, whatever it is, what you want, what you can do, what you can't do.
Yeah.
What works for you, what doesn't, without soliciting, without intruding. Mm-hmm. Cool doesn't really intrude. Cool doesn't trespass. You know those people you talk to, you're like, man, I love talking to them because they kind of hold their space, man. Yeah. You know those people you talk to that are always trying to get in there and solicit and get you're like, be cool, man.
Yeah.
Hold your ground, own your shit.
Yeah.
You don't need.
See? So now he's very much like kind of throwing out some facts here, because that's true. when you see people very much like doing their own thing, you kind of like, it throws a little bit of mystique. There's like an intrigue there. You're like, what is that person about? You know, especially when you see people in like these event type situations or stuff where you normally see people, you're like, people, you should be freaking out right now. Like if Mathew McConaughey was in a mall, everyone starts freaking out, but there's one guy, he's over there like, yeah, I know it's Mathew McConaughey, but I'm over here, I'm just chilling, man. I'm being cool. You know what I mean? This is kind of like what Matthew's talking about. You're at a party, you like hanging out with the people that don't want to like get into the conversation the whole time, that aren't trying to butt in every 5 seconds. Someone kind of like Bert, you know? So it's like almost like Mathew is basically like telling them like, yo, man, this would make your podcast like a whole lot cooler if you guys just did this stuff. But he sounds very well put together here, right?
Me to convert to make you cool.
Right. Chill the fuck out.
Right.
Right.
So I think it's ownership. And if I can find that, or any performance I see where you see somebody own whoever they are, the nerds are cool.
Right.
Because when they're like, I'm a nerd, man, I like this shit. That's cool.
Yes.
I don't think dorks are cool.
I don't think dorks are cool. And then he has these two fucking dorks staring right the fuck at him. Look, these two might as well, like, he might as well hold a fucking mirror in front of these guys. Go, I don't think these two are cool right here. You know, if you guys see these two assholes right here in this mirror, that's not cool. Okay, he might as well do that to them. These two look like the most uncool assholes I have ever seen in my goddamn life. Now, remember I was gonna say, you know, Mathew, he starts taking a turn for the worst, you know, later on. He starts getting like real kooky. And you're kind of like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here? So, watch. He starts talking about, what's this guy's name? The fucking director. Martin Scorsese. And how he was doing his shit in Wolf of Wall Street. This is where Mathew starts to get a little bit weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about this guy after this one.
And I've tried to close these gaps. Meaning, there's what we intend to do, there's what we actually do, there's what gets recorded, and there's what gets edited. Trying to close all those gaps. And over 35 years, I have been able to close the gaps where what I'm wanting to do is pretty close to what I'm doing, which is pretty close to what's getting recorded, hopefully what's going to get edited.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not, and I need that director to go, come here. I know what I hear what you're trying to do, but come look at it. And I'll watch the scene and go, oh, that's not what's coming across. Gotcha. Maybe that's the angle. Maybe that's me. But sometimes there's a larger gap between, oh, well, here's what I thought I was doing. No, maybe it was, but it's not captured. Or maybe what you thought you were doing is not actually what you were doing.
What is, because we're all.
See, so now there's a well put together thought. You know what I mean? He says, they start asking him about his acting process. He goes, well, you know, in acting, you always have what you think you're doing, what's getting recorded, what gets edited, and then what comes out. And he goes, and you want to make it as seamless as a process throughout all of that. And through my years of experience, I've been able to translate what I think I'm doing, gets pretty close to what's being recorded, which is pretty, you know, what you hopefully gets edited, and then that's what comes out. And he goes, and I've learned how to do this throughout those years, right? And then this is where they start asking him questions about Martin Scorsese. And this guy starts fucking going a little off the rails.
All mesmerized by Scorsese, and you did Wolf of Wall
Yeah.
Street. What's he like? On
Dude. Loves funny.
really?
So, and nonverbal. I don't think he gave me any direction that had an English word in it.
Really?
No, it was all do the yeah, go.
What the fuck?
Look at this guy. We're losing him. We're losing him. Remember the last time I closed up on him? He looked real charming. He looked very, very nice, Mr. McConaughey. You know what I mean? Now look at this fucking psychopath. You trying to tell me you directed a whole, you did a whole, you know, couple scenes with this guy in a movie? He never spoke a goddamn word to you? No, this is where I start to lose with these Hollywood types. They start getting into these like metaphorical type ways of speaking and shit, where like they go, oh man, it was like a cosmic experience, man. He didn't even like speak the whole time. He was like, imagine if Leonardo DiCaprio's sitting in the goddamn scene and the director's doing that shit to him. Leo Dio's gonna be like, yo, man, will you shut the fuck up? Direct this shit, man. Like, I got other movies to make. I can't deal with this fucking shit. This is where I started to look. I was like, what is he talking about? Who does this shit? You know? Look at this guy. We're gonna lose him. We're gonna lose him. Look at that frame. Look, you see what I'm saying? I'm hot with the goddamn pause button today. This guy is losing his fucking shit right here. And he's trying to be cool.
Yeah, go. It's musical. Everything's musical. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna be here. It's a boom, 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 whoa, ah, boom, 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 whoa. Go.
Imagine if a director was talking to you like. Imagine if you were trying to act out a scene, and a director talked to you like that. You would think he was having a stroke, especially if they're as old as Martin Scorsese is. You would legitimately think, you'd be like, this guy is fucked. He's losing his goddamn mind. You know what I mean? Like, I would call medical on set. I'd be like, I don't understand jack shit he's saying. And if they tell me that's part of the process, put me on a goddamn different movie. Because how you going to work like that? You know what I mean? So it's clear Matthew's just trying to do this whole like, Hollywood, you know, we're mystical, metaphorical beings, man. Acting is just like a process. It's all like within. They give you this like vague bullshit. And then you're supposed to get like an idea of what they're talking about based on that. Nah, you're just a kooky ass actor. And, you know, people probably shouldn't listen to jack shit that you have to say. But this next part I thought was funny. I didn't even know about this whole like Tiptoes movie. Mathew McConaughey apparently did a movie called Tiptoes back in the day. And they're about to touch on it now. This also will shock you.
True. Did you know that when people watch the trailer for Tiptoes, that they think it's a sketch? Did you know that? That no one thinks it's real?
They think it's a what?
It's an SNL sketch. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I've shown that to so many people, and they're like, when the fuck did SNL do this? I'm like, no, this is real, dude. Like, did you know?
It wasn't quite real, but it was real.
It was insane. The first time you see it, you're like, what the fuck is happening? Like,
look, they're all losing their minds. What's in that goddamn Porosos vodka? I do not know. This guy's losing it. Tom and Bert are losing it. Look at these two. All talking about this movie, Tiptoes, right? And they're going to show the trailer in a second. Wait until you see this goddamn shit.
Just play it for like 10 seconds for Bert. Here, put the hands on. This is one of the craziest things that I've ever seen. And I've enjoyed it so much.
Together was perfect.
Right? Yeah.
Look, what I'm going to do here, because fuck their reactions, we do not have to focus on their reactions at all. We don't need them. I'm going to zoom in on just the trailer. We need you guys to get this, like, uncut. Like, you don't need no fluff. This shit is absolutely bananas. I couldn't even believe. You know how, like, sometimes people will say, they'll be like, man, you can't make a movie like that today. You know what I mean? When they talk about, like, old movies. This is 100% one of those movies. You will never get this shit across somebody's desk in today's day and age. But it happened back in the Dizzy. What is this, 2003 this movie came out. Look at this shit.
You're like, okay.
I've got to get going.
Hey, baby. Hey, sweetie.
I love you.
There's one small problem.
Look at this bullshit. Look, they got... I couldn't, but when I saw this, I was fucking thrown aback. This whole episode's going to shock you folks. I'm going to tell you that right now. You know, Furries. We got Tom Segura's Final Form. Now, we have Gary Oldman playing a midget, right? But he's not playing like how this is what's crazy. You could never do this now. Peter Dinklage would have a goddamn heart attack if you tried to do this bullshit now. He's playing a midget. Like, you remember when you were like a kid and you wanted to pretend to like be smaller, so you would tie like shoes around your kneecaps and you would walk around the house on your knees, right? And you'd be like, you know what, 1.5 feet shorter or something like that, you know? You fuck around with people, you go, man, look at me, I'm all small and shit like that, you know what I mean? They got Gary Oldman doing the late great Gary Oldman. This guy is like one of the greatest actors of all time. And they got this guy dressed as a midget, and he's doing it like that. He's got his shoes tied around his knees right now. They're like green screening out his legs. You know, look at this shit.
Ralph, I'm his brother. We're twins.
Are your parents,
Yeah.
It can tear them apart.
I think you're gonna let me know that everyone in your family's a midget.
They're not midgets.
Look, his whole family's midgets. That's what the whole movie's about. Mathew McConaughey trying to find love. His whole family, they're all midgets. You can't even say that word anymore. This video might get demonetized because I said that word. Are we gonna bleep it out? No. You know what I mean? His whole family's midgets. This girl's like, yo, you could have fucking warned a brother. You know what I mean? That's what the whole movie's about. So now he's got like all these different midgets around, right? And they're all actual little people, dwarfs, if you will. All of the actors are all dwarfs except the main one. The main one is Gary Oldman, standing on his knees with shoes tied around them.
Dwarfs.
Or bring them together.
That's Gary Oldman, dude.
Gary Oldman. Patricia Arquette. Peter Dinklage.
This is
Kate Beckinsale.
Bruno, his mom, Kathleen.
They're like, what's up with all these fucking midgets?
You could have prepared us for this, don't you think? If you embarrass me, I'll never speak to you again, so just get it together.
How's everybody drink?
I think maybe I'm pregnant.
When the girl gets left, it's
Now the girlfriend's pregnant. She's like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Is the baby gonna be a midget? Like, you know, this was all like, you could get away with these talking points back then in a movie. Have you guys ever seen the movie Tropic Thunder? You can't make a movie like that now. That movie was made in like 2016, okay? Like, very, very classic stuff. Probably the only movie you'll ever see Robert Downey Jr. play blackface in. And trust me, we loved it.
Wait, this trailer's so good. I've never seen the trailer. This is so good.
You knocked up this great girl and you didn't tell her that her baby's probably gonna be little.
I'm not like you.
Oh, yeah, we dropped into real drama.
Look, speaking of Peter Dinklage, they even got him in here. He could have been the second lead, bro. Why they do my man Dinklage like that? See, this is before Game of Thrones. So, you know, he didn't have that, like, you know, he could be whatever, you know, type shit now. Now they cast Peter Dinklage. Did you see, what's the movie? He just did a movie with, like, Andrew Scholes. And it's like an old Western. This guy plays a goddamn bounty hunter. He plays a bounty hunter, like Django Unchained. Like, you know, we're getting bounties on men that like the courts and the federal judges want locked up. Dead or alive, here's your prize. You know, that he's like one of those bounty hunters. He plays in a dead serious ass movie where he is a bounty hunter. So, you know, now Peter Dinklage, he's got some weight after Game of Thrones. They could cast him as fucking anything. Back then, he didn't have that, you know? So he's just like some one-off character in this. He's just another one of the midge.
Don't discriminate against us!
You said these parties got a little wild. I never expected this. There's sure a lot of midgets around here. You better back off, Goldie Hawn.
Look, you heard that, girl? There's sure a lot of midgets around here. God damn, dude. You could say anything in 2003, huh?
My man can do what he wants to do. I'm ready for an adult relationship.
What is this man doing in your bedroom?
Look, they got midget fights and that. You know what? This reminds me of the movie Gremlins. This is like Gremlins, right? This is like a scene out of Gremlins. You know what I mean? If you don't know about Gremlins, that was a movie back in the 90s, mid to late 90s. And basically it was like this guy bought this like cute little animal from this like Chinese street vendor, right? And the guy was like, oh, there's 2 rules. You can't get it wet and you can't feed it past midnight, you know? And the guy was like, okay, yeah, I got you. No problem, man. We're going to do good. Of course, the thing accidentally gets wet. The thing accidentally eats past midnight. And it becomes a whole debacle because when it gets wet, it starts multiplying like crazy. When it eats past midnight, it turns into this like goblin ghouly thing or something like that. And then next thing you know, there's like 1,000 gremlins in your apartment. They're all having a goddamn party. So this is like a scene out of Gremlins. You know, all these midges, they're running around. They're going crazy. You give these guys a little bit of alky past midnight. You get them a little wet with that alcohol. You give them a couple hors d'oeuvres past midnight. These midgets are going to start running amok.
There's sure a lot of midgets around here. You better back off, Goldie Hawn. My man can do what he wants to do.
I'm ready for an adult relationship.
What is this man doing in your bedroom?
Look, see, so now they're all running around. You know what I mean? All the gremlins.
This is chaos, dude.
A walk down the aisle.
Stevenson.
Look, and he's Jewish. Look at that. Ethan Klein would love that. You know what I mean? Is this how your people portray the midges? You know what I mean? Is this how Jews see midgets in Hollywood? You know, you see them as crazy, deranged people that can't hold their shit together at the party? Is that what's going on here?
Very lucky guy. Just hope he's smart enough not to screw it up.
Is just a beginning.
There'll be rough patches.
Look, even the doctor was a midget. Look at this shit. They took the cake with this one.
Smart enough not to screw it up.
Look at the doctor. Look, the doctor's a midget. He's only like 6 inches higher than the doorknob. This is crazy, dude. I'm like shocked that this movie actually exists.
There'll be rough patches, there's no doubt about it.
Canal Plus and Langley Productions proudly present command performances from Kate Beckinsale, Mathew McConaughey,
Just get really serious.
Patricia Arquette, and in the role of a lifetime.
The role of a lifetime. They gave Gary Oldman, this is Gary Oldman, the role of a lifetime, dude. That's the same guy who was in fucking Leon the Professional, you know? This guy is like all-time actor. They're saying this is his role of a lifetime. You know what I mean? Like when I saw that movie, I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? We're going to end this Mathew McConaughey segment on his world-famous Tuna. This guy, remember I told you he started getting kooky. He started getting a little kooky. You know what I mean? And this tuna, when you hear how this guy makes a fucking tuna salad, you know, I don't eat tuna salad. I am not a big tuna salad guy. You know, chicken salad, yeah, I'll do a little chicken salad. You know what I mean? But tuna salad, I gotta be hungry as fuck to want to eat a goddamn tuna salad sandwich. You know? And if Mathew McConaughey was making the tuna salad, I would have to be on death's door to try a spoonful of that, okay? Wait until you hear the way this guy is making his goddamn tuna.
Chinese mustard.
I've been using wasabi pretty liberally lately.
I do too. I like wasabi.
To mix up even with a tuna fish salad. I'm a tuna fish salad master.
Now, I know I'm pausing it a little early, but I'm going to tell you, the wasabi in the tuna fish salad, that's not the crazy part. Wasabi mayonnaise is shockingly good. If you've never tried it, try it. Do you have like a burger or something like just a little wasabi in the mayonnaise, just enough to turn it green, that will change your fucking world on mayonnaise. I tell you, okay? So he's not, right now he's spitting facts, okay? And that's going to change soon.
Jamaica.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Every Sunday night, clean out the fridge, Musicå style, going to make a badass tuna fish.
So do you
that'll last through the week.
So explain your tuna fish to me, because my wife's a redneck, and so she has pickled jalapenos, candied jalapenos in her tuna fish.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I want to hear yours.
Well, it's a long list of all kinds of things. I mean,
celery.
It starts with the base. You get your good tuna.
Yeah.
Next, you got to watch how much lemon and vinegar you add, because if you add the mayo mixed with wasabi and a little thyme dressing,
shut the fuck up!
Come on.
I didn't even think about putting wasabi into my fucking tuna fish.
Whip it up.
Look, all right, Bert already starting with this crazy shit. Shut the fuck up! I hate Bert. I hate his interruptions. Watch how he does this. Look at his fucking face when he does this.
Shut the fuck up!
Come on.
I didn't even think about putting wasabi into my fucking tuna fish.
losing his fucking mind over this. What are we doing? And Tom's looking at Mathew like, he's like, please don't mind my friend. He's like, he's just, he's a little drunk, so don't mind him.
Spit up, a little light green. Get that in there on the tuna, and because if you put whatever you put on the tuna first is going to soak it up. So
you're blowing my mind right now. You're blowing my mind. It's like the first time someone told me how to finger someone, and I didn't know that you weren't just supposed to stick it in and leave it there. And I go, oh yeah, it would make sense to move it around. You're telling me tuna fish.
It is like
tuna
that.
fish. If I would get high-end tuna, of course I'd put wasabi on it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I put it on my tuna fish?
No, it's a good idea,
right?
Bert is such a fucking cuck. Look at this fucking guy's face. You're blowing my mind right now. You're blowing my mind. Eat some wasabi on it. Okay. You never put two different foods together before like that? Huh? It's really fucking you up that bad? You're fucking rich. God. Hire a chef.
So we fucked this interview up. We should have been talking about this the whole time.
Get a base.
Yeah.
And then all the rest of the stuff from the chopped red onions or the dill pickled gherkins. I'll finally slice the dill pickled gherkins. There's a jalapeno product now that it's been seared in hot oil, so it's crispy jalapeno chips.
So look, listen to this. We have wasabi mayonnaise, which is once again not bad. He's obviously rich. He's probably using like some crazy grade A tuna steak. You know what I mean? So we're in the clear right now. He starts throwing in red onions. Now I'm like, what are we doing here? He's finally dicing up pickled gherkins. I'm like, whoa. You're starting to fuck this up, man. Now he's moving on to pickled jalapeno chips. Like crispy jalapeno chips, right? So like now by the time you throw the chips in there, they're going to get all like soggy and weird. There's going to be like mush breading mixed into the tuna salad. Like, you know what I mean? So we're not off to a good start here.
To give it a little crunch. I come in with to balance that out. At the end, I do go. I'll go with some apple for some sweetness, a touch of agave if it gets.
He puts apples and agave in. Dude, we're like 7 ingredients in on this fucking tuna salad
to balance out that wasabi here.
Yeah.
And at the end, I do go, man. I always have corn in there. Always
fucking corn. This guy puts fucking corn in this goddamn tuna. I'm losing my shit, dude. Wasabi, red onions, pickled gherkins, apples, agave. He's got fucking crispy jalapeno crunchy chips in there. Corn. What are we doing here? This is tuna salad. It's just mayonnaise and fucking tuna. You don't have to start mixing all the other shit in there. Throw some celery. He didn't even say celery. Celery is like classic chicken tuna salad. That's a classic right there. I'm not hearing one bit about celery.
Got corn.
Really?
Oh yeah. And then at the end, I'll go some frozen green peas.
Frozen green peas, bro.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
I can't, dude. You throw in frozen green peas. So I'm going to do it all for you again. He's got wasabi mayonnaise, tuna, red onions, finely diced pickled gherkins, crunchy jalapeno chips, apples, agave, corn, and at the end, he throws in frozen green peas. This is Mathew McConaughey's world-famous tuna salad. The look of satisfaction on his face right now. He literally is like looking at Bert and Tom like, now you guys got it. You guys got the keys, man. I put you guys on because that is fucking cool, man. Like, that tuna salad, man, you're going to eat that tuna salad. It's going to change your whole perspective, man. It's going to make you so goddamn cool, man. You eat that tuna salad, man. Like, he's legitimately, I was like, what the fuck are we doing with this goddamn tuna salad, you know? So let's give it up for Mathew McConaughey's world famous tuna salad. I was like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, what? Listening to that bullshit, I was shocked when I heard that fucking tuna salad shit. So we're gonna end up moving on to Senor Ethan Klein on the What's Eating Ethan Klein segment. So, like I was telling you earlier in the intro, Mr. Ethan, you know, if you're, he's been crashing out. This week, he's crashing out over this Dan Balsagna guy, right? Now, if you are a follower of Lost Aux Media, you already know that every week we do a segment called the W.E.E.K segment, and that stands for What's Eating Ethan Klein. Now, the past, 4 episodes, every segment has been about Ethan crashing out over this anti-Semitism rant that he's having, how the world and the internet is against him. And he's mainly focusing all of this criticism and wanting to get canceled and things like that. He's focusing it all on Hassan Piker and the CEO of Twitch and a lot of creators that are in Hassan's network, you know. He even went as far as to get a couple of them banned off their platforms based off of this game that they did where Sabra Hummus was the worst tier on it and being an Arab was the top tier, right? Very sus stuff. This episode, he ends up talking about this interview that this Dan Balsagna guy ends up having with Piers Morgan. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it was an off-the-rails interview, right? This Dan Balsagna guy just basically goes on Piers Morgan to just trash Jews for a straight half an hour. That's fine, dandy, whatever, live your life, do what you want to do, I don't give a shit. Ethan uses this as an opportunity to once again point this out to his fans on where his fans' assimilated harassment should go, you know, because really, why else would you be doing this episode after episode after episode, if not to try to weaponize your fans in that way to maybe try to take care of this internet problem? He did it with Hassan, he did it with some of the creators involved with Hassan, and some of those creators ended up getting banned. So, you know, what's to stop Ethan from continually doing that until he gets what he wants? You know, it's kind of what's happening here. And if you also know about H3 and these crash outs, you know that lately he's been doing a lot of accidental clickbaiting. He's basically saying hey, this episode's going to be about this. And then he gets on the episode, he starts going on these anti-Semitic rants. They never end up getting to their topics. The fans are starting to get fucking pissed off about it. Now, in this episode, he does this same thing with this Dan Balsagna interview on Piers Morgan. Goes on there, starts reading all of the hate comments on there, but not before getting sidetracked from his main story. Now, like I said, this episode was supposed to be about one thing, turned out to be about Dan Balsagna. This episode was supposed to be about Brianna Chicken Fry's breakup with Zach Bryan. Now we're about to watch them lightly touch on it and then get sidetracked right off the rip.
Yeah, I don't know what's this chicken fry nonsense, but Olivia's going to tell us all about it.
Fucking fried chicken.
I just can't take this lady seriously. Chicken fry?
Well, that's not her real name.
Well.
But yes, that is what she goes
by. It's her stage name.
Yes.
Stage name, you could choose anything. That's the thing.
It's true, and she went with chicken fry.
She chose chicken fry, which is even worse in a sense because if her parents give her a crazy name, that's not her fault.
Look at this, right? Ethan, we're gonna touch on this real quick and then keep going. I thought this was so funny. Ethan's sitting there going man, it's her stage name. She could choose anything, right? Chicken fry kind of sounds fucking stupid, you know? You could choose anything. Meanwhile, he's wearing a woman's headband in his hair. He looks like a goddamn chicken himself. Look at this cool. She could choose her stage name and you could choose your haircut, you know? You could choose it, Ethan. You don't have to wear your hair like that. You look like a fucking idiot, man. What is going on here? This guy already off the rip talking that goddamn shit, but not before getting completely sidetracked from the story.
But she looked in the mirror and said to herself, I'm chicken fry.
I deserve fried chickens.
Yeah.
And that happened. Dwayne The Rock, you know I'm a rock hater. If he's rock, I'm paper.
Shut up, bitch! Yo.
Call me Mr. Paper.
That's right.
Yeah, he sucks. He's annoying. He did this interview. Actually, we were goofing on him recently because there was all these.
See, now it wasn't even a smooth transition. They literally talk. He goes, Olivia's about to read this PowerPoint, everyone. And then in the same breath, he goes, yeah, The Rock, he sucks. Let's talk about The Rock for a little bit. You know, this is madness. This guy, so now he's getting sidetracked without even the anti-Semitic rant yet. Now watch. Before we get to this hate comment marathon, I wanted to show you something. This I thought was very interesting. This is a twofer right here. In the past, I believe it was actually last episode, I was touching on how, like, I feel like Ethan might have, like, an Adderall problem, right? But Ethan's too smart for that. He knows how the internet works. So he's like, he probably goes to his doctor and he asks for, like, a generic form of something that's, like, kind of like Adderall, but it's not Adderall. So then that way when people ask him, like, hey, man, you take Adderall? He goes, Adderall? Never heard of the stuff. You know what I mean? So, like, that's what my suspicion is. I think this guy has been tweaking for, like, a minute now. How else you get fixated like that on this anti-Semitic bullshit? You know what I mean? This guy getting fixated so goddamn hard on that. Staying up late as fuck at night to make these videos in, like, response to, like, Hassan streams, different things like that. Starting to lose a lot of fans over it, right? I've had that suspicion for a little while now. Then Ethan kind of goes on to, like, almost prove that suspicion a little bit. You know what I mean? By basically, like, asking his crew for Adderall, you know, like, but actual Adderall this guy's asking for.
I don't know if he's
do you guys like this, or is it
frankly have no
insane?
idea.
Bring what do you call that drug?
Adderall. I don't think it's a good idea.
Bring Adderall. I'll take it at the beginning of the show, and we'll see what happens.
If anything, I feel like you should start with an extended release rather than a...
Sure, bring whatever you got.
Well, so this guy is fucking starting to get unhinged, right? He's like, yeah, man, we do an episode where, like, I just take, like, a bunch of drugs, man. I take, like, Adderall, man. You guys bring me in Adderall. You know, like, what you're talking about right now live on air is illegal? You cannot be asking for people's prescription drugs like that, my man. You know what I mean? You legitimately just recorded yourself live committing a crime. Well, not yet. Once you get the drugs, then you will be committing a crime. And Olivia, or whoever supplies that Adderall, will be an accessory to that crime. Wouldn't that be nice? You see, like, them actually get swatted on their stream, right? But nobody called in. They actually just got swatted. They're like, Adderall, you know what I mean? FBI, open up! The whole H3 fucking studio gets raided to shit. All just for Ethan making a wee little bit of Adderall joke.
Viagra.
Viagra, okay.
What for the show?
We'll do that show next time.
Yeah. Do different pills, you know, each show.
But, like, genuinely, if I have ADHD and I'm prescribed, I can get a prescription to that easily.
Yeah.
Ooh, this part is juicy. I almost forgot about this part. Listen to Ethan talk about the way him and his doctor's relationship works. This one is very interesting.
No, I could. My doctor will hook me up. He's the man.
Let's do a couple.
Well, I have, like, I do arguably have it, right? So it's not like it's coming from nothing.
You see his face right now? He's basically sitting there saying, like, you know, I basically have, like, self-diagnosed ADHD or, like, ADD or whatever the DDD is. You know what I mean? I got one of them. I know I got one of them. So, like, I can totally go to my doctor and, like, he'll just, like, hook me up, you know, because, like, he always prescribes me, like, the most expensive shit anyway, and I always am able to pay for it. So he'll basically, like, just do whatever I want because that's how doctors work. So, like, you know, a doctor, when they know that they can just keep charging you for shit, you know what I mean? You got, like, the best insurance money could buy, and on top of that, a copay basically means nothing to you. Yeah. Your doctor's gonna get real fucking chummy with you because he knows that he can just blast the fuck out of your insurance anytime he wants. The second you go in there and you say some hey, doc, I think I got ADHD, the doc's gonna be like, you twitch your wrist a lot like this? He's gonna be like, I do it every 5 seconds, doctor. He's gonna be like, yeah, you got it. Okay, we'll prescribe you 1,000 milligrams of Adderall. You get 10,000 pills a month. Call me back when you need something else. We're going to charge your insurance $50,000. You know, the doctor's not going to give a fuck. They're never going to. And he's sitting there, like, glazing over at his audience, or his crew, like, almost in like, seek of validation. Like, watch how when he's, like, talking about this, watch and pay attention to his face, and he starts talking to his crew, and he's basically, like, looking over at them like, well, I basically have ADD, right? And he's looking at them in the hopes that they'll look back and go, yeah, you know, they don't have to say, yeah, they're just nodding at him, like, off camera, like, yeah, you got it, Ethan. No, you got it. Yeah, we'll bring you as much Adderall as you need. You know, don't worry.
Viagra.
Viagra.
Watch his
okay.
face.
We'll do that show next time.
Yeah. Do different pills, each show.
But like genuinely, if I have ADHD and I'm prescribed, I can get a prescription to that easily.
Yeah.
No, I could. My doctor will hook me up. He's the man.
Let's do a couple.
Well, I have like
Look, my doctor will hook me up. He's the man. Now watch. This is where he's going to start like arguing his case. And then you're going to see him start to look over at the crew, start scanning. Who's on my side? Who's on my side? Who's on my side? Watch.
I do arguably have it, right? So it's not like it's coming from nothing. Sure. So if I get a prescription, do you guys think it'd be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. They're going to agree. Yeah, Ethan, sure. Yeah, whatever. You can get whatever you want. I mean, dude, just keep signing our paychecks. We live in LA, and like it's hard enough, even with the salary that you're paying us.
I mean, I think you should go to a doctor. You should talk to a doctor.
What about like, you guys are acting like, yeah, I'm going to take Tylenol at the beginning of the show. It's I'm prescribed the drug. Do a vote. Do a poll, Dan.
Dude, let's do
a poll. This guy wants to do a poll. Hey, audience. Should I start taking drugs on stream? This is crazy talk. This is like if Ethan watched anybody else talk like this if Philip DeFranco was talking like this on his goddamn live stream, Ethan would start. Philip DeFranco is he's crazy. He's anti-Semitic. He's taking Adderall like every fucking day. Like this guy is losing his shit, man.
a couple different shows where you do a couple different drugs, and then people vote for what show was funniest.
Yeah,
and then you continue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a fun idea. That's genuinely a fun idea.
What am I polling here?
Should Ethan do the
Should Ethan do more
Prozac?
drugs?
The Addy.
Oh,
Adderall experiment.
Should Ethan do?
So now he tried. Look, that's great. You know the difference between Prozac and Adderall. I feel like that was like a slight on him. You know what I mean? For him to kind of be like, well, I don't really know what Adderall is. I've never taken the stuff. You know what I mean? This guy is taking like a generic form of that shit. There's no way he hasn't. You know what I mean? And this is what I find. So Ethan's 39 years old, right? He's a grown-ass man. You do all the drugs you want. Like, I don't give a shit about you doing drugs. It's the hypocrisy right here. Rules for thee, but not H3. You know what I mean? That's what this guy's all about. Ethan can do whatever the fuck he wants. You will never see him criticize himself. If anybody else did this, he'd be all over them. And here's the kicker. The biggest demographic for Ethan's audience is children and teenagers. This guy is very influential to the youngins that watch him on a daily basis. I mean, if you got 30,000 young people watching you every episode, I'd say you're pretty influential, right? So now, this guy is basically shilling like, oh man, isn't it so cool to take drugs and Adderall to like a young audience of his. Now, remember I said this guy's about to start going on a hate comment fucking marathon. And also remember how I said his fixation, at least to me, seems like it's fueled by drugs like this Adderall that he's so adamantly trying to get from his crew. I kind of feel like this little crash out was fueled by some form of an Adderall derivative myself. Now let's watch as he starts to roll the snowball downhill on this hate comment marathon.
Doing it. This man's just on TV doing it. Friend of mine that only 33 minutes. Imagine how much of this has been edited out. Okay. Piers Morgan, uncensored but not unedited. What is the accusation?
Dan Balsagna probably is saying that they took something out or something. I don't know. Could check his Twitter and find out. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
though.
Dan, call into my show. It's live streamed.
True. No editing. Well, we have the button.
So now, Ethan, they start reading these comments, right, that are underneath this Piers Morgan and Dan Balsagna interview. Now, this Dan Balsagna guy, he's like one of those almost like Sneeko, Andrew Tate style internet cucks. You know, that he goes on, he's like, yo, isn't it awesome to have like mad bitches, like 5 Ferraris and like $10 million in the bank, dog? You know, I made all my money from like scamming poor saps like you who want to live like me. And that's kind of like what Dan Balsagna's kind of like built his wealth and internet fame off of, you know? But this guy, he's not your ordinary cuck. And I'm not really hounding on Ethan for trying to jump down this guy's throat. This guy's a fucking fag. But it's more or less that Ethan's like putting his audience through endless fucking torture, insufferable episodes, all for his own personal qualms or whatever, fights. It's like, this is his own personal battle that he's dealing with, but he wants to drag you guys into it. And it's kind of fucked up to like deprive your audience of what they came to see, all for your own personal bullshit, right? So they start watching a couple clips of this Dan Balsagna guy with Piers Morgan, and this is where Ethan starts reading the comments. But now Ethan's gotten to a point to where he's like, all of these comments are anti-Semitic. Like, I can't get over the fact that there are so many anti-Semitic comments because, like I said, Dan Balsagna was pretty much just bashing Jews for like a straight half an hour. So there's a bunch of people in the comments that are like, yo, this Dan guy's right. Jews are fucking crazy, man. Like, they all start going in on it. I agree. I agree. It's a little crazy, you know? But do you really got to do that to your audience? Do you got to put them through that? You know what I mean? I don't think you do.
Murdoch's not Jewish, though. No. In fact, he's probably, if anything, more anti-Semitic. He's leaning like Bannon, Steve Bannon's side of things. All right, but there you go. So we'll keep going, guys. I'll be here all day if we need to. Wow, this time I've claimed to give 0 Fs. I was mistaken because this is what giving 0 Fs actually looks like. I find it incredibly ironic that the host of the show called Uncensored is constantly throwing hissy fits over people actively engaging in the premise of the show. Growing up is realizing that Piers just attacks guests when he's challenged by a purely logical argument that he can't defend. Netanyahu gave a speech in Congress saying Iraq had WMDs. Again, it's like, this is insane that they're trying to pin the whole thing on Israel. Piers tried again and again to get this guy angry. He failed, and Dan remained calm throughout. While the comment section really backfired on Piers, as a German, I wish that more Americans...
So now see how he's starting to pick up the pace a little bit? He's starting to pick up the pace because he's like, in his mind, he's starting to get so frustrated, right? You ever notice that when you get like really frustrated with something, you start acting like more sporadic. Your movements start getting faster, and then you just start fucking up stuff even more. This is why people always tell you, like, when you start to get frustrated, they go like, the best thing to do is to take deep breaths and calm down. Because once you slow down, then you could start making like more rash decisions, more, better movements, whatever it is. So he's starting to get wound up right now. And you could hear it in the cadence of his voice. He's starting to read these faster. He's starting to read them more aggressively. And he's about to basically tell you, hey, man, I'm not going to stop until we get to a comment that is not what I deem anti-Semitic.
Americans would use their freedom of speech to talk about history. As a Muslim, I want to say Dan Balsagna is a true warrior, and we have so much respect for him. Notice how Piers did not dispute a single thing he said. He resorted to calling him names. Why was Kanye not canceled when he criticized the black community, but immediately when he criticized Jews, he was canceled?
See, so he just keeps going, right? Now watch. He's even gonna say to himself, that, like, I'm reading these are like minutes apart from each other, right? Like he started reading them. Let me look at the time codes. He started reading the comments at 1 hour and 13 minutes, right? This time code we're at is 1 hour and 21 minutes in, right? He's gonna keep reading them. Watch.
Get ready to get your comments deleted. All Piers did was call him a Jew hater, but didn't listen to a thing he said. That's the difference between a brave man and a little man that's afraid to upset his masters. Now, just a reminder, I have not skipped a single comment.
See, I have not skipped a single goddamn comment. What are we doing here? He's been, now this is like almost 10 straight minutes of this, right? Almost 10 minutes. Now watch, now this is like 2 minutes later, he's still reading them. Now 2 minutes, it doesn't sound like a long time, right? But mind you, now we're almost at 15 minutes straight of him reading these. And to be reading hate comments for 2 minutes, if I go, Piers playing dumb like he doesn't know about AIPAC, right? Piers Morgan shocked, but okay, that was like 3 seconds worth of talking right there. So now 2 minutes of that. How many comments you think he read in 2 minutes? Now how many comments you think he read in 15? He's just going to keep doubling down on this. And he basically even says that.
With him, props to Dan for having the courage to say what's on his mind, no matter how controversial. Notice how Piers doesn't really want to discuss any of his claims, but rather resorts to accusations that he's anti-Semitic and just hates Jewish people. pathetic response to any.
See, so now even that one that he just read was kind of like not anti-Semitic, right? Because the guy just goes, hey, did you notice like Piers he didn't say that he was like a liar or anything. He didn't really like combat any of his points. He kind of just went to call him anti-Semitic. Like, why didn't Piers come back with like facts like Piers normally would, right? It's kind of like what that comment was going. I mean, you could basically take it either way. You could take it as that person genuinely asking, or you could take it as that person going like, isn't it suspicious, that Piers isn't asking him that, and it could kind of be a little bit more towards the Jews like being bad side, right? But basically what I'm getting at here is like Ethan's like cherry picking. He's saying like, oh yeah, I haven't skipped a single one. But he's basically he's cherry picking this. And every time he reads a comment that's like a little more vague or a little more towards the middle of the argument, he basically just moves the goalpost. You know what I mean? Like, that's that saying. When people go like, hey, you can't just keep moving the goalposts. It's like when you're trying to make right by somebody and they constantly tell you it's not good enough. Or when you try to like win back someone's trust or whatever it is, win an argument, anything. And they keep moving the goalpost. You get to that point and they move the goalpost further. And that's basically what Ethan's doing here, trying to win this argument. And the worst part is, like a child, he's basically doing this, saying like, I don't want to do this. Like, watch. Well, let's listen to him say it. He's basically going to say like, I don't want to do this.
Points Dan made, accusing him of being an anti-Semite.
Hold on. He's going to say, I don't want to do this. But guys, there's no anti-Semitic, or there's no comments that aren't anti-Semitic here. I have to do this, is basically saying to you, the audience. You don't have to do this. You had a whole episode planned. You could skip past this. You could mull over this in your own personal life. Instead, you're trying to put your audience through it. And like I said earlier, I think that the reason why he's so adamant about putting his audience through all this bullshit is because he hopes that he will be able to weaponize his audience against Dan Balsagna, against Hassan Piker, against Frogan, against Twitch. Why else would he do it? It's not to spread awareness. It's not to spread awareness because people are aware. They're going to be aware without you. And they don't need some fucking joking asshole cuck like you, some hypocrite, to make them aware. You're not that person. You know what I mean? Let Joe Rogan handle that. Joe Rogan can bring awareness to this shit. We don't need you.
Listen, guys, I don't want to read this, but this is like basically 50 comments in a row. Dan, I don't believe in white supremacy. I'm going to read it all until there's not a anti-Semitic one.
See? So even he's saying, I'm going to read it all until there's not one. I don't want to do this, guys. Dan Balsagna, he's basically forcing my hand. I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't read every single one of these comments to you guys for 50 minutes straight. This guy is still stuck on Dan Balsagna. It is like 2 hours and 16 minutes in, he's still stuck on Dan Balsagna. And watch this. When the chat starts like expressing concerns about this, or they're even like expressing their like disinterest in it, saying like, hey man, could you move on? You know what I mean? Like, and mind you, this chat, these are all his paying members. These are people that pay for the membership to his channel. So they're like the ultimate fans. I don't pay for this bullshit. You never hear me cover a goddamn member stream. Why? Because I don't pay for it. I'm not going to fucking help pay this guy's fucking salary. What are you kidding me? I watch the free shit. So all these people in the chat, I can't chat on an H3 episode if I wanted to because I don't pay for it. So these people, they're going to start like expressing their disinterest in this. They go, hey man, it's time to move on. Can you please, like with this, it's a little much. You know what I mean? Ethan just starts banning people. Watch this.
There is no evidence that Israel ordered the Iraq war. It was taken by George Bush's administration with the help of people like Tony Blair.
Well, we went there.
Lot of silence coming from Ethan. Sounds like somebody in the chat got to him. He's real quiet to the point to where he even paused the video that he was watching. Look at his face. Look at how he's like balls deep in this comment right now. Like legitimately mulling over every word that this commenter is saying. And unfortunately for us, he doesn't say what the commenter said. He just asked Dan to ban him. And this is where this little ban marathon of his starts.
I just read a comment. Can you ban this person? C sound? Just permanently ban them from chat. Bye-bye.
Okay.
See how satisfied he is now? He goes, can you just permanently ban this person from chat? Can you just, like, permanently ban them so that they can't talk anymore? Isn't that some shit? So you can pay $5 a month to this guy, right? And you get to watch all this extra stuff and blah, blah, blah. But he still has the right to take away your privilege of, like, being able to criticize him, chat with him, all this, all because you said something he doesn't like, you know? So this is kind of like another big thing I wanted to point out with Ethan is that, like, you ever notice a lot of episodes lately, comments turned off? You know, this guy has been doing a lot of posting through Instagram stories. Hard to argue with someone on Instagram stories. You know what I mean? You can't like now you can leave comments, I think, on there, but it's not like a comment section where everybody's sitting there, you know what I mean, arguing with each other back and forth. Ethan doesn't want people to be able to criticize him. He wants to live in this echo chamber, in this bubble. And now he's going to start banning the fuck out of people because of it.
Thank you.
C sound?
Yeah.
All right. Try and find him. I'm coming for you, C sound.
Now listen to Dan. I'm coming for you, C sound. I'm going to get you, C sound. Dan kissing on Ethan's asshole like that. Ethan might as well have the shit just wide open for him, Dan. But, oh, yeah. That's good stuff, Ethan. You know, there's a little. Yeah. Dan's good for that. You know, usually you see Dan on the opposite side of that. Like, I kind of almost expected Dan to kind of be like, are you sure you want to ban him? Like, can I read what he said first? You know what I mean? Before you just start going crazy, you know, the whole thing. So now watch. That triggers Ethan. And like 10 minutes later down the line, he goes, you know what? I'm going to just start banning people, even just for simply saying move on for the subject.
It's just this nonstop fucking train of Jewish propaganda, just hatred that's just getting piled on so many layers deep that you can't even untangle it. Yeah. Remember, someone said Hila's DNA test. Yeah, she was super Middle Eastern. She's Libyan and Turkish.
Excuse me, she was...
And 15% Italian.
I think it was less than that.
It was
7, I think.
It was like 7.
No, it was 15.
15?
I think must be because I was saying my kids
Let's pull the receipts!
Ben says...
So now they're sitting there like it's talking shit about the chats. People are now defending Ethan's points. They go, well, this Dan Balsagna guy was saying that like it's illegal to get like DNA tested in Israel. And Ethan's like, well, Hila got DNA tested. She was like Turkish and like Hungarian or like Romanian or some shit. You know? Now Ethan's happy to talk about the chat when they're defending him, right? No problem. Now watch. Somebody simply just says to him, hey, can you move on from this? Like, we don't care. This is where the banning starts.
Let's pull the receipts!
Ben says move on. You can leave.
You can leave.
I'm finishing this.
Yeah.
In
You
Israel.
can leave.
But, I mean, you're literally...
You know what?
Here we go. This is when you know people, as soon as you hear someone say that, they go, you know what? And that, you know, they're about to start going off. This Ethan did not like that. You notice one chat person said something in defense of him. He goes, yeah, man, this guy, he knows exactly what he's talking about. One guy goes, hey, man, you guys are like just moving on. He goes, you can leave. You can go fuck yourself. Okay? You can get out of here. We don't need you. Okay? We're making plenty of money around here without you. One less person is not going to kill us. Okay? Now watch. He's gonna go further than this. He's gonna double down on that.
In Israel.
But, I mean, you're literally...
You know what? I'm going to make a rule in the chat for the mods. At any point during this show going forward, any segment, doesn't matter what it is, somebody says move on, 2-week ban.
2-week ban. Just for somebody going, hey, can you guys move on to the next segment? That's not even criticism. That's like literally a fan just going like, okay, I had enough, you know. That's what does that do to you? Nothing. Does nothing, you know? And this is basically Ethan dodging accountability because he's pissed off that the fans are actually calling him out on something that he might be self-conscious about. He goes, man, I do get sidetracked a lot. Like, we really never get to the subjects. Like, you guys think that the fans are getting pissed off about that? And, of course, the crew's going to kiss his ass and go, no, Ethan, the fans love it. They love it, right? Then when the fans start talking shit, Ethan goes, well, my crew is saying that everything is fine. So these guys must not know what they're talking about. He just doesn't want to accept any type of accountability for this bullshit.
If they've been banned for 2 weeks already, permanent ban.
I think the mods have been pretty hard, especially
That's been a
during
policy for like 5 years on this
Yeah.
show.
What? This,
we
every
always
time
ban
I
people.
see it, it's move on, move on, move on.
Yeah, it's because
That's just
everyone is
a lot of
saying
people
it.
say it.
Change my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Love so hard to find.
We got him. Look at that. Even the crew sitting there going like, well, Ethan, we've been doing that for like 5 years now. Like, we're banning everybody that's telling us to move on. You know what I mean? The mods are breaking their fingers, hitting the keyboards, fucking banning the fuck out of people, man. Like, you actually should start paying these dudes overtime. How much we ban people from chat. You know? So we've been doing this forever now. Ethan's like, wait, are you serious? I had no idea. He's like, dude, you're such a bitch. We had to put that like preemptive measure in. You know? The people that you're seeing now, they're the ones that are getting past the mods. They're people saying this shit at such an exponential rate, the mods can't keep up. They can't keep up with the bans. These people are squeezing through those cracks. You know, this is actually insane to hear. We're gonna end the What's Eating Ethan Klein segment on this. I as a matter of fact, now I got one more Adderall video to show you, so we'll end it after that one. But listen. Tell me this is not crazy to hear the crew say this. To hear him try to talk about this like ban policy that they go, dude, we know you so well. It's been a ban policy for 5 years. This is crazy.
You know what? I'm going to make a rule in the chat for the mods. At any point during this show going forward, any segment, doesn't matter what it is, somebody says move on, 2-week ban. If they've been banned for 2 weeks already, permanent ban.
I think the mods have been pretty hard,
That's
especially
been a
during
policy for like 5 years on this
Yeah.
show.
What? This,
Yeah, we
every
always
time
ban
I
people.
see it, it's move on, move on, move on.
Yeah, it's 'cause
that's just
everyone
'cause
is
a lot of
saying
people
it.
say it.
But there should be no one left at this point if we're banning everybody.
No, there's new ones every time.
We ban so many people who say move on.
Okay, well,
That's a long-standing policy.
keep it to yourself, bucko.
Denying
We
those.
can't do 2-week bans though. It's either 24 hours or permanent.
Yeah.
Look at that. He can't even do what he wants to do. They're like, dude, the whole 2-week ban thing, we can't even do that. We don't even know what you're talking about when it comes to that, my friend. Like, sorry, Charlie, but we can't do it for you, you know? So if that's not like some of the craziest shit, but let's end it on this one little Adderall bit, right? So remember I showed you that time code on this current episode. That one was supposed to be a Brianna chicken fry, Zach Bryan breakup episode. In the middle of the episode, they end up changing the name to like Ethan destroys Dan Balsagna with like facts and logic. As if that was like what we all wanted to fucking see. You know what I mean? Nobody gives a fuck about Dan Balsagna. But during that episode, remember I showed you he's asking his crew for Adderall, right? You thought maybe that would have been a one-time thing. It wasn't. This guy ends up going again to ask his crew for more Adderall in the next episode. Watch this.
Okay.
Did you bring Adderall?
What the fuck is that? Look at this guy's fucking face. This guy is hurting. He's not sick. He's not sick, dude. This is not a sick man. This is a man who's withdrawing right now. He's coming off of something. He's got to be. You looking like this, right? And then you turn and you go to Olivia. Hey, Olivia, you got that illegal Adderall that I was asking you about? Remember in the last episode we were talking about the Adderall? Did you bring any? Because I'm like hurting right now, girl. This guy is losing himself. He is legitimately losing himself. It is crazy to hear these words come out of his mouth. Like, for those of you who don't know, or you've never seen somebody who's like withdrawing off of substances, when they do, they get sick. They look sick. It's like you legitimately, it almost sounds like you have a fever. All your sinuses get fucked up. You start like using the bathroom like crazy. I've seen it. I've seen people go through the thick of it, and it's just like being sick. It's like apparently from what they tell me, it's like being worse than sick. But you look like a sick person. To somebody who's never been through it, me, seeing it, they look sick. It's kind of like what Ethan looks like right now. And to hear him say this is crazy. Watch this.
Okay.
Did you bring Adderall?
No, but I did see people on the subreddit being like, Olivia's contributing to the shortage because she said that she doesn't use it. I don't know how long Adderall lasts. I still have the bottle that I took to school. I haven't called in a new prescription.
Girl, you prescribed it.
Probably
You have a right to get that medicine. Okay?
I do, but I promise I'm not contributing to the shortage. I would never.
You're not contributing. It's a prescribed medicine. These people should go fuck themselves.
Prescribed medicine to Olivia. Not to you, Ethan. This is not for you. So let's give it up for Ethan Klein's new drug problem. Of course, you know we love that. So now is about the time where we start getting some music going, right? And we have ourselves a little bit of a smoke break. No, Olivia. We're not talking to you anymore. So let's get this music going. Get ready to spark up a little bit of a J. And you know what? I don't want to listen to that song. Let's go to a different song first, and then we'll spark up that J. There we go. Yes. All right, we're getting ready to start up our little smoke break. Have a couple puffs with us. Don't get too twisted, and get ready for these next couple segments on Lost Aux Media. We still have, who do we have on the docket left? We got Dave Portnoy doing his white boy raps. And then we got the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson live boxing event on Netflix. Stay tuned for all that and more on Lost Aux Media. Song, I like that little drony type beat, you know, drones out a little bit. Very nice. Ooh, let's listen to that. So funny enough, we were talking about a couple episodes back, we like briefly touched on like Brianna Chicken Fry's breakup with Zach Bryan, right? And funny enough, Ethan Klein was supposed to talk about it. He ended up getting caught up on Balsagna, little Dan Balsagna. And then even that next episode where he was supposed to talk about it, ended up getting caught up with that fucking request for that Adderall from good old Olivia that we just got done watching, right? But that's all beside the point. That Zach Bryan, Brianna Chicken Fry breakup was pretty juicy. Number one fact why it was juicy was because this guy ended up fucking like offering her an NDA after the breakup. In something like a breakup, getting someone to sign an NDA is not a good sign. I'm going to tell you that right now. It basically tells everyone else, if that person doesn't accept that NDA and blows you up because of it, which is what Brianna Chicken Fry did, basically tells everybody else there's a lot of shit about you that you don't want her to say that happened in that relationship, right? All very juicy stuff. She goes on to basically blow this guy's spot up on the BFFs podcast, which you all know we're big fans of around here, and other podcasts as well. Then Dave Portnoy and her other co-host Josh Richards, aka Liam Payne, they end up going to write a diss track, a whole rap diss track about Zach Bryan in response to this breakup, because Bree ended up telling them a bunch of stories that just made Zach look like an asshole. Now, during that whole thing, they ended up finding out that this Josh Richards guy was like under a contract with like Warner Brothers Music. And because of that contract, the diss track that they wrote belonged to Warner Brothers Music. And who happens to be like their number one artist? Mr. Zach Bryan. So they start copyright striking that goddamn song the second they released it. All because of Josh's involvement in it. So now Dave, he's trying to figure out what to do about it. What can he do? He can re-record the song. So he ends up re-recording the entire song without Josh Richards' parts. Here's the kicker. Dave Portnoy is like the whitest guy in the world, and that motherfucker can't rap, okay? So we're going to finish out this song, hear a couple more tunes, take a couple more rips, and then we're going to get into those Dave Portnoy raps, because that shit is fucking crazy.
Showing up dope as fuck like I came in a baggie. Hippie came in with the tabbies, but he looking like Shaggy. I am back up in this bitch, and I brought me a baddie. I ain't God, she ain't Jesus, but she calling me daddy. Put Addies in my coffee, nothing can fucking stop me.
Addies in the coffee? Ethan Klein.
My boss was awfully bossy, so I scalped him like a Nazi. His grimy like Ferrari, bitch, I'm cocky, Futanari. Ooh. The life of the party, I got it wrapped up like I'm doing Shibari. I brought me the tabs, and off a guitar, and about to get gnarly. The orgy is sloppy, don't get that shit on me, the jacket on my
one more rip, and then we're getting back into it.
Be getting that mommy tsunami like, ooh, bitch, surf's up. Boys be lifting their shirts up, mommy be getting her skirts up. Going and getting this dirt done, sorry your feelings is hurt, bruh. Baby, we getting them worked up, we finna, we gonna get it turned up. All night long, just hold right on like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah. That's a decent little rap to end it on, right? And the funniest part about that is when we get into these Dave Portnoy raps, trust me, Dave ain't rapping like that. Okay? Wait until you hear the way this guy raps. He legitimately, he can't say a single bar on his own. He has to get somebody else in the booth to say the bar like 3 times on beat so that he can like somewhat get the cadence and then put that up to use. He can't even do that. Look at this asshole.
How you feeling?
Tired. Not looking forward to this at all, to be honest. But
see, look, right out the rip, he's like, I'm not looking forward to this, man. He's like, I'm not a rapper. You know, I'm not a rapper like that, so I shouldn't be out here doing this. Now watch what he does the second they get into the booth.
In here?
All right. Okay. In here.
What's going on?
What's going on? You ready to go?
Mother.
This asshole spills his fucking coffee all over the goddamn plate. What the fuck? The second that this is, you know, this is gonna be a shit show of a rap session. This guy, as soon as he walks into the studios, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment in that bitch. This guy spills his fucking iced coffee all the fuck over the goddamn place. Watch this shit one more time before we get into the way he raps.
Okay. In here.
What's going on?
What's going on? You ready to go?
Look at this.
Motherfucker.
Look at this asshole. Come the fuck on. The producer's like, bro, you fucking up my goddamn J's, motherfucker. This guy's got a brand new goddamn pair of Jordans on. This guy spilled iced coffee all the fuck over him. He's supposed to goddamn record this guy now.
We got another coffee for you.
What an entrance. That's about like my energy.
Let me do it. You got songs to make. You got hits to record.
We got a schedule.
Look, now they're like, yo, let us do it, man. We're going to take care of you, bro. You got songs to make, man. You about to go in there and start dropping like real hot fire. All right? You do that shit real nice. This Zach Bryan goddamn diss. Wait until you hear Dave Portnoy is hands down the whitest man on planet Earth.
Rolling. Go for it.
You gotta admit this is fucking hard.
That is hard. That's gas.
Oh shit! I didn't see it.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's real heavy.
Itty zitty zack, itty. So we'll just go over and over. Itty zitty zack. Itty bitty 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 zack.
See, now what they're doing right now is they're just getting him to repeat like a couple syllables at a time. That's all he's good for. So they're like, hey, we're just going to get you to do a couple syllables at a time. We're going to stitch it all together. So if you tried to get this guy to perform this shit live, oh, so help you God. Okay? This never going to fucking happen. This guy can't even get through 5 seconds of the goddamn song without fucking up. So now you hear him. That's what they're doing. They're going, itty bitty zack, itty bitty zack, itty bitty. So that he can get like one good one out of that, right? And then he can start stitching it with the rest of the shit. They do this for him the entire song. Every single fucking new set of syllables, he has to record. And they have to stitch the whole goddamn thing over again. Wait until you see this shit.
So probably have to like 1:30ish.
Let's fucking do it. I think we could do all of this.
Yeah,
right. 100%. No doubt in my mind.
All right.
Good to go?
Let's run it. Oh, boy. So
Yeah,
you're going
you
to sing it
can-
with me and then you just drop out basically, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, you said you remember everything. 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 Yeah, you said you remember everything.
Yeah, you say you remember everything.
You have the ones we just did? Yeah.
You hear that? You hear how bad this guy is at that? Dude, the funniest thing, that part is just supposed to go, yeah, you said you remember everything. Yeah, you said you remember everything. This guy can't get that cadence right. He cannot get it right. And when you see, he's going to keep going. Wait until you see the way that this guy, like he looks like a baby almost. Like he legitimately, he looks like a fucking baby. The way that his face is in the booth and shit, when he's like trying to like repeat the words back and stuff, he legitimately looks like a child. Like he can't do it.
Yeah, you say you remember everything.
You have the ones we just did?
Yeah, I have all of them.
All right, the last three, I think we can get something out of it.
Okay.
Try to competence a grid real quick so we can
Okay.
just hear it, and that's what we're going to do with every single one.
Yeah, you say you remember everything.
That was the best one. Is there a way for you can get that now?
I was not recording. Yeah, you say you remember everything. Yeah, you say you remember everything. Yeah, you say you remember everything.
Good. Those ones we could definitely work with. Fire. Good, great job, Dave.
Back in the booth.
Back in the booth. This guy is back in the booth. And dude, I think the greatest part about this is he has like a straight decked out like platinum diamond chain. You know what I mean? Like straight decked out platinum diamond chain while doing this, right? And this is what we get.
I can't even do it how he did it.
They say Zach gonna make you burn, burn, burn.
They say Zach gonna make you burn, burn, burn.
Gone.
Zach gonna make you burn, burn.
Gone. Like Zach
Gone.
is gone. Zach gone.
Zach on. One word.
Yeah. Yes. Zach on.
All right. Zach on.
What? One more time.
Zach gonna make
Zach gone. Zach
Zach on. Zach on. Zach on. Zach on. Zach on. Zach on. Zach.
Zach on. Zach on. Zach on. Zach on. What the fuck are we doing? This guy cannot rap, dude. This is
Gonna
crazy.
make you burn, burn, burn. Zach on.
Doctors for their expertise.
They say Zach gonna make you burn, burn, burn.
They say Zach gonna make you burn, burn, burn.
Gone.
Dude, the kid's getting fucking frustrated. He's like fed up with Dave. He's like, dude, you cannot say the shit right. He's like, come on, bro. You gotta get this shit together. Like, you're crazy. And I wish I could play the song, but Warner Brothers, like, they're not striking the videos to where, like, they're taking the monetization. I'll play the song if they were just taking the monetization. Any song that has this Zach Bryan rap this in it, they're straight taking it down. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with losing the money. I don't want my episodes to get straight taken down. So go look for it's called The Smallest Man. That's the name of the Zach Bryan disc, The Smallest Man. Hands down, it's a bop. I mean, it's a straight bop, and you got to give it up to them. Give it up to Dave Portnoy for at least trying. You know what I mean? Like, this guy, that's really the least you can do. So let's get ready to turn on some music. Get ready to end this episode of Lost Aux Media. and call it a day. If I can get a good song on here. There we go. Let's turn up that music and get ready to call it a day. Okay, sorry about that. Hold up, guys. It's the Shmee, the Netflix time codes. It's fucking me up towards the end of this episode, but we made it through, didn't we? We made it through. Yes, we did. So, as always, I'd like to thank you on joining me for yet another episode of Lost Aux Media, where we make you take a second look at what you just watched. Be sure to catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you catch your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Audio episodes and video episodes go up every Wednesdays. Audio go up at 5 a.m. so that you can listen to the episodes on your way to work, and the video episodes premiere 4 p.m. on YouTube, so when you get home from work, you can watch them. That's just the way we do it here. So, as always, I'd like to thank you again for joining me and bid you adieu on another great episode of Lost Aux Media. Until next time, goodbye.
In a midnight sky,